Cutting off the black eyed peas is kind of like cutting off Elvis. It just takes a lot of courage to do that. It could go on and on. Luke, welcome to One Primetime. You can see we are covering the country from one side to the other. And I want to just do a quick shout out to a couple of things. Asim is one of our best family members, and they're double dipping. Did you guys see that? They're enjoying One Primetime and a watch party. They're planning one day. I can't wait to hear what they're going to be doing and see photos of it. On behalf of Corey, who is online with us, please, as you're planning your one day, send us those photos. Let us know what you're doing. You can send it, you can place it on the culture site. You can send it to coaching at realty1group.com. We want to see what you're doing. And a big shout out to Angelica, who's just marketing herself right in the chat line. You go. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm Kathy Baker. I'm joined with Carrie Ezrabadi, and we are just so thrilled to have you on Primetime and to welcome our friend and our partner in business, Luke Aker. Luke, take it and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Kathy, Carrie, so great to be here. Everybody who's joining, so great to have you. Thank you for spending your time with us today. So my name is Luke Acree. I run a company called ReminderMedia. Maybe you have heard about it. Our flagship product was American Lifestyle Magazine, which you can, I guess, see over this shoulder over here. Since then, marketing is really my passion. So I'll tell you a little bit about my story today because it ties into the training we're going to do. But we work with about 35,000 real estate agents all over the country. But most importantly, we are partnered with Realty One Group and doing some special things. So I really focus on, marketing's broad, but I really want to focus you on the most important part, which is how do you build relationships with your database to get them to know, like, and trust you so they actually refer. And a unique thing that I'll add about our story with ReminderMedia is we work in 140 different industries. And I don't say that to impress you. It's more just to go, hey, it gives us a unique insight to, we have lawyers that are clients, we have Medicare insurance agents, I have car dealers, magicians, caterers, interior designers. What do we all have in common as businesses? We have consumers that we're trying to reach. We have clients that we're trying to serve. So how do you as a business today in 2025 cut through the noise to get known, like, and trusted when competition seems like it's more than ever and everybody, can market in a ton of different ways. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what we're doing and what we're seeing as success, not only for our company, but for our own real estate team.
Let me tell you why we're doing this today. And everybody, if you're like me and you don't do math well, pull out your phone because Carrie and I are going to give you a quick exercise. One of the exercises that we do in our Level Up course is to help you determine the value of your sphere of influence. So there have been studies done that will let you know that for every successful experience that your consumer has, whether a buyer or seller, over the next 36-month period, if you stay in touch with them and you farm them and they do become a repeat and referral customer, you should have a minimum of 3 referrals from them in that 36-month period. So right now, here's your first math program. Your average commission times 3. What is that? Put it in the chat line.
I like this, giving them homework,
okay.
engagement immediately.
Yeah, this is actual training. So Sarah, okay, 18,000, 30,000. Go Mark. Mark's down there in Florida. He's living near Naples. He's got a rich market he's in. 30,000. Way to go, Catherine. Yay. Wow. Augustine, $1 million. You got my heart. Okay, so now let's say that's one. Let's say you do an average of 8 deals a year, 8 transactions. So over eight different transactions. So those 8 times your number over 36 months, right? So what are we looking at here? We're looking at tens of thousands of dollars. Guys, even if you implement a simple plan that is touching for repeat and referral business and you bring 1 deal per year, man, you bring 2 deals. Let's say you bring 3. Those 3, that 18,000. Do you see the yield on this? And you do it year after year after year. Let's stop doing the hard things and put some systems in place. And the key word today is going to be execute. What can you walk away from the table today, or what can you walk away from the screen from today and earn that 18,000, that 30,000, that 40,000? Sharon, 180,000. That's right. 63,000. You guys are doing the multiples on it. Kelly Walker, 22,000. Melissa, 40. I'm loving this. So look, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh, it's so powerful. Another way to look at it too, the commission way is the most powerful. Statistically, most people will say about 5 to 6% of your database will sell a home or buy a home this year. So about 5 to 6% is a number you can use. So you think of your phone, think of all the contacts in your phone right now. That's a database. Now, you might not be connecting with them. You might not know totally who all those people are. But if you have 100 contacts in your phone, that's 5% of those are going to buy or sell this year. The question is, how do you get in front of them? How do you find them? How do you identify who they are? And there's a lot of ways you can do it. We'll cover some of them today. But that's what you should be thinking is, am I at least capturing that 5%? And if not, you're leaving those commissions on the table. So pain usually is a bigger motivator to get people to take action than reward. So I would share with you, think of that as the income you're losing right now by not keeping in touch and not cutting through the noise from a marketing standpoint.
I think about when I hear agents say, you know what, I think I'm going to have to get a real job, right? I think I'm going to have to stop real estate or, go half-time or part-time to get a real job. And in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, if you can just connect with your sphere or your farm or whatever you're doing in positive, valuable ways, you're going to make potentially way more money in a shorter amount of time. I mean, look at all those numbers, 22 grand, 10 grand, 12 grand. How long is it going to take you if you get a real job to make that amount of money? Right? So if we could just kind of switch our mindsets around and focus on the plan that we have, hopefully in your business plan and the goals that you've set, and focus on that to just connect or reconnect with our sphere and our farm. I mean, it's like there's no ceiling.
The pain point I see in that, because I think you're spot on. Here's the pain point. Real estate versus a ton of industries, it's not usually a direct response type deal. It's not like e-commerce, right? Where you go and you shop and you buy right then. Normally, I think in real estate, it's like 10 months. And sometimes, obviously, we've experienced 18 months. Chris Smith, if you guys know him, he founded Curator, wrote the book Conversion Code. When I was interviewing him on the podcast, he was basically saying he sees on average leads across the whole real estate industry take about 7 months to convert. And so that just gives you the pain point. The pain point is it's delayed gratification. And that is why we stop too soon, because if you go, I'm going to nurture my relationship with Kathy today in my database. Oh, I'm going to take what Luke says to heart. And I'm going to pull up my phone. I'm going to find out who those people are. It might be 10.8 months before you get your first reward for the work you're doing today. And so if you're a new agent right now, you should be asking yourself, not even new, if you just need to, revive your business, just ask yourself, are you doing the activities that will gain that reward 10.8 months from now? Hopefully you get it sooner. Some deals will come sooner, but that's what you should be thinking is like, am I doing the activity every single day, laying the brick every single day to where 10.8 months from now, I'm reaping that harvest? That's the biggest pain in the industry is people quit too soon. They stop too soon. It's not instant gratification. It's very difficult to keep going on things that you don't feel like it's working. And then you think it's you. And you stop versus continuing to go. So
tell us how to do it.
Okay, well, I will try, but please interrupt me. And guys, please be interactive in the chat. I'm going to share my screen, but we don't have to stay on the slides at all. I love interactive chats way more, or interactive webinars, I should say, way more than just me talking at people. So we already went over intros, so you guys don't need this, but I like to call us the Client for Life company because that's really where we focus. I want to tell you an important part of my journey, because if I go back to that open slide, you see the printed magazine there. And about 8 years ago, I faced a crossroads in our business at ReminderMedia. We've been doing this for years and years. We've served over 150,000 clients. Tons of testimonials, but I had some doubt because I had surrounded myself with people and the industry was so loud about print marketing being dead and, it's not working. And I started to have a little doubt of, man, is what we're doing marketing wise, is it working for people? And because it's really hard to get up on webinars and train people or get up on stages and sell if you don't fully believe. And I would challenge you that if you're struggling to sell, first ask yourself, do you truly believe in the value and the services that you're bringing to the table? Because people want to buy from confidence. Confidence comes from competence. and a belief that you actually are helping people. But I had this doubt, and I was sharing with you, Kathy, on one of our pre-calls. Doubt is kind of like the nick in your windshield, where you get a little nick from a rock, and it's okay. It doesn't bother you. You can still keep driving. But if you don't take care of it and you go down the road of life and you hit the potholes, it kind of spreads. And before you know it, you have to replace your whole windshield. I was kind of reaching that moment where it's like I had this doubt, is print really working? Are the marketing strategies that we're teaching working for people? And it was starting to spread. And at this moment, I was talking to my younger brother who was working in a call center, much like this call center, doing financial aid. So Steven's my brother. He's this jacked guy over here. I'll show you another picture of him. This is my younger brother, Steven. And about 8 years ago, he was miserable working in this call center. And I had this epiphany. He goes, hey, I think I'm going to get into real estate. And I was like, oh, ding, ding, ding. This is amazing. You get into real estate. Let's start this real estate. It will allow me to go from just being the marketer to actually having to implement the ideas and strategies that we've been helping agents with, which, you know, it's a little bit different from being the marketer to the implementer, actually making the phone calls, sending the mailers, all that stuff. So it gave me new perspective. And we started Acree Brothers Realty. Last year, we actually ended the year at 269 transactions, did about 68 million in volume. We have 5 agents on the team in Lynchburg, Virginia. So this was our first 5 years. So first year we did 35 deals. Keep in mind, Steven had just graduated Liberty. So he didn't have a sphere besides college buddies. So he had to figure out how to create the sphere in Lynchburg, Virginia, because we had grown up, you know, about an hour and 45 minutes away from there. And second year, 78, third year, 100, by the fifth year, 320. And for all my team leaders on or brokers, we went through the same paperwork. We got up to like 13 agents, I think like 14 agents at 320. And then we lost some top producers and we've kind of restructured the team. Now we're a SEAL team. Last year, we did like 69 transactions, like I said. All of this, again, I don't say to impress you. It's really to impress upon you. I really believe in what I'm going to share with you today because it's what we're doing for our clients, but it's what we're doing in our own real estate business. It's not perfect by any means, but it's working. And that's what I want to share with you today is strategies that are working, what we've found to be successful. Here's the question to center us that I would have you answer right now is where are your potential listings going to come from? And if you work with buyers, you could just replace listings with buyers. Where are your buyers going to come from? And I don't want you to take Luke Acree's opinion, Kathy's opinion, Carrie, no offense to you guys, and I know you're really successful, but I don't want you to take our opinion. Let's look at the data. Let's look at what the actual data says where the transactions come from. And this is NAR's recent buyer profile, where they found that 65% of all home sellers, 56% of all home buyers found their real estate agent through referral and repeat business. So my always argument to people is if you're going to go fishing, because a picture's worth 1,000 words, why would you not first cast your rod and reel and in line? I'm not a fisherman, but why would you not at least cast your line into a chance where 2/3 of the listings are, 2/3 of the fish before you go over to this area? Doesn't mean you shouldn't do this area. With Acree Brothers, man, we have Facebook leads we do now. We have Google we do now. We have geo-farming we do. So we're very open book of all the things we do. But 51% of our deals last year came from referral and repeat business because we know that's the core of where the business is. And so in order to fish here, you have to have the right bait. You have to understand, how do I market to cut through the noise? And Josh, my CMO, and I, a few years back, tried to do some research on our own campaigns and through our podcast to try to figure out what makes a good marketing campaign. Like Kathy, if you're going to become a real estate agent today, how do you get known, like, and trusted with all the people that you know and your community? And what are the pillars of marketing that you need to generate success? We've done hundreds of millions of pieces of direct mail, both postcards and magazines. We've done millions on Facebook advertising, both for our company, ReminderMedia, and for clients, because we run Facebook ads for people. We've done social content. We've done over 500 million email marketing campaigns. So all that is to give you a picture of like, hey, we've looked at email campaigns, we've looked at print campaigns, we've looked at social content campaigns and paid campaigns. And what I have found is in order to drive a successful marketing campaign, you really need 3 pillars. You need 3 things in your marketing. And my challenge to all of you today is audit your marketing during and after this call. Do I have all 3 of these pillars? Am I doing them well? And I'm going to give you the tactics that we implement for each of these pillars. I put it into an acronym called FIT because I'm a marketer, can't help myself. It's easy to remember. So if your marketing's out of shape, If I've lost you, come back by this terrible image of Homer Simpson here. But if your marketing's out of shape, you got to get it in shape. If it's not generating leads, you got to get it to generate leads. You got to get it fit. So let's talk about what FIT stands for. The F stands for frequency. And I chose the word frequency specifically because it has two meanings. It's not only the amount of frequency you have with somebody, so the number of touches, but also the channel that you communicate with them. Just like you get into a car and you turn to the radio station of the music you want to listen to, that frequency channel. Not many people are doing that anymore, but you used to do that. It's no different in marketing. Marketing has multiple channels. We're going to walk through some of those today. And so I want you to think for a second, how frequent should you be with your database? So if we can get the chat going, let's get some interaction. I love your opinion, Carrie, Kathy. Like, how many touch points should you have with your list in order to get known, like, and trusted and to make sure you get the referral? So if we can get the chat, people chatting in, I'm going to pull it up here. And tell me just what's your idea? What do you think? What are you doing now? And I'm going to give you the magic number here.
I've got 38. I've got 33, 12, 46.
There you go.
67, 18, 36, 100 times.
Oh, I like Angelica. I like that. Oh, we're getting somewhere here. Okay. I normally do.
I want to make a statement, and I want to talk about, and I just want to be really blunt, and we might have to, bless our hearts, we might have to edit this out, but I want to say this to everybody on the call. When you don't take action and your programs aren't fit and you're not reminding people of what you do and how well you do it, and you're not offering your services, you're giving them the absence of you telling them how well your experience is, gives them the opportunity for a really shitty transaction. And I just want to be honest about that. I want you to feel so passionate about what you do that you realize you're putting your past buyers and sellers at risk of a horrible experience, because we know 47% of the realtor population in NAR didn't do a deal all year. And a big percentage of those did one. Why would you risk a past buyer and seller having that experience because your programs aren't fit enough to be frequent and intentional and have that impact and create what we need to? So think about that. I want you to own that.
So well said.
I was going to say too, Kathy, that I think sometimes, and I hear this all the time when we're teaching Rev Up and even Level Up to our new and experienced agents, but it's like, especially with the newer agents, they're like, I don't want to be annoying. I don't want to reach out to my friends and family too much. And I think that and I'm sure, Luke, you're going to talk about this, but I think that I think that the mindset is that they're going to reach out to somebody and it's always going to be salesy. It's always going to be about buying and selling. Whereas probably much of the time, it's not going to be, or it shouldn't be. And so, kind of mixing all that in and just having that contact and those touch points, like you said, to where you're not sounding salesy, you're just being top of mind and bringing value. I think that's the most important part. And I'm Luke.
That is so good. And I love Scott. I was smiling at Scott's chat. I wake up annoying and my clients love me anyways. I don't believe usually there's magic formulas in business, but I'll break from that and I'll give you guys the magic formula of touch points. Again, we've been at this for 20 years, 150,000+ clients, 140 different industries. Grab your pens. If I lost you, come back. Here's the number of touch points you need in order to generate referrals. Write this number down. It is, if our slides will work, ready? Big reveal, more. MORE. Write that number down. Now, I was homeschooled, so I know that's a word, not a number, but that is it. If you're doing 12 today, you should be doing 13. If you're doing 100, Angelica, you should be doing 101. I promise you, it is almost impossible to do too many touch points. Almost impossible. I sat on a panel in Phoenix, Arizona of a bunch of marketers speaking to an audience, and beside me was the guy that ran All States Marketing, and he shared that they were trying to reach the consumer 37 times a month. 37 times a month they were trying to reach the consumer. Now, I want to give you two examples. One is Acree Brothers. We do actually over 200 touch points to our database. 200 touch points to our database a year. You can actually, I'll give you a download here where it lays out our whole touch points, everything we do, from our magazines to postcards to the emails we do, client events. We do 4 client events a year. We have a July summer barbecue coming up as our next one. So we lay all that out for you, but we're doing 200. Then I have a client, Brian Harris. He's a financial advisor in Annapolis, Maryland. He's top 1% in the world, just crushing it. Actually, when he shared this with me, he said he was doing about $6 million a year out of his business. How many of you guys chat in? You want to make $6 million out of your business? I mean, this guy's making, he's elite. I'm just like, golly, pulling $6 million. He does 275 touches. He sent this to me in a text. This is just a little business card of his touchpoint plan. Look at that. Weekly commentary, 52. Bi-monthly magazines. He's a client of ours. He does 6 of those a year. Monthly event invitations. Look how many workshops and fun stuff he's doing. So this is his plan. He's doing 275. When I share this with people, their gut reaction is like, that's way too many. Luke, like, you're spamming. That's crazy. But I want you to think about something right now. Think about your spouse, your boyfriend, significant other. How many times are you touching them? I don't mean like that. Don't think about that. But how often are you in front of them? I think of my wife, Megan. I have thousands of touches with her every year. She's my closest relationship. And if you're a data person, think about a graph. As you have volume of touches, quality of relationship goes up. As you go down in touches, guess what also goes down? Your quality of relationship. You get down to where you're barely keeping in touch with people. They're acquaintances, right? So it's really, really difficult to touch people too often. We can get to the content that you send and how you touch them. That's key here in a second. But I want to drive this home for you really from a marketing standpoint. So I don't know if you guys know of Hobbs and Herder, right? They were one of the godfathers of marketing, right, within real estate. So Don Hobbs, actually, him and I got on a call actually not too long ago because I was using his study. And this is such a powerful study. And Don was sharing with me the power of frequency. He created the 8x8 campaign in real estate. So if you've ever heard of the 8x8 campaign, he was one of the originators or the originator of it. And Don was sharing with me, they tried this 8x8 campaign on a neighborhood, which is 1 touch a week for 8 straight weeks. And they wanted to test the power of frequency. And so what they did is they sent a mailer once a week, 8 straight weeks to this neighborhood. But before they did it, they went and they knocked on every home and they asked the homeowner, who's the number 1 agent in this area? And they got a myriad of names. They didn't get one dominant agent, just a myriad of different real estate agents were named. They came home and they created a fake real estate agent. So Don and the team created a fake picture, fake real estate agent, fake credentials, did the 8x8 campaign on this neighborhood. 1 mailer a week for 8 straight weeks. Went back after it was complete, knocked on the same home doors, or talked to the same homeowners, asked them the same question. Who's the number 1 agent? You guys already know the punchline. The majority of homeowners chose the fake real estate agent. The majority of homeowners chose an agent that's never sold a home, doesn't even exist as the number 1 agent. Why is that important? Write this stat down. 81% of consumers choose the first agent they interview, according to NAR's latest data. If you're not first, you're last.
Again, 81%.
81% choose the first agent they interview. So that means they're talking to only 1 agent 81% of the time. You don't have to be the best, even though I want you to be incredible at your craft in real estate. You got to treat people well. You don't have to be the best. You have to be the most known. Starbucks doesn't have the best coffee. They're on every street corner. How do you become the Starbucks of real estate in your neighborhood? It's frequency. You must be frequent. Like a minimum I give people is at least get to 26. Every 2 weeks, be in front of people. Now, here's the key. Don't just blast people with 275 emails. Don't just send 275 pieces of direct mail. Go ahead, Kathy. You're going to say something?
Yeah, I am, because I think it's really important right here for people to realize you have to be a resource, not a sales pitch. We are consultants, and we're not talking about, I think it's very important, we're not talking about 26 times a year going, do you want to sell your house?
Yeah.
Do you want to sell your house? Do you want to buy your house? I love Dan Wilson. We love, by the way, Luke, you guys would hit it off really well. Dan says, he's up in the Pac Northwest, our events are super popular. So with our sphere for annual cooking class, barbecue, fall party, fancy drinks, serves. So we're not talking about tapping them on the shoulder saying, you want to sell your house? You're talking about being the go-to, right? Be the resource and not the sales pitch. Melissa, I love that.
Yeah, you're spot on. And that's why, remember always, as you're going through this training, there's 3 pillars. Frequency is one, but you can be frequent with junk and have the opposite result that you want. So impact is what the I stands for, and it's what you're getting at. And we'll go through some examples. What I want to make sure people understand about frequency is you have to hit people as many times as possible, but remember it's channels. You need to be omnipresent through omni-channel marketing. I have magazines as our flagship product, but we offer social media content, email marketing. We want people to do call behind the magazine, face-to-face pop-by drop-offs, because the key is you want to trigger the frequency illusion. So I'm sure you guys have experienced this. Carrie, have you ever thought about buying a car or bought a car and see that car everywhere? Has that ever happened to you? Yeah. It's a common, everybody knows about it. It's common. It doesn't just happen with cars, right? It happens with everything that becomes important to you. You tend to now, you notice it. And we've come to learn this through Ninja selling and other programs out there. It's the reticulating activating system that your brain gets 100,000 plus thoughts a day. You can't focus on all of them. So your brain has to prioritize. And so it allows you to focus on the things that are important. So the frequency illusion is pretty interesting. It's a similar type phenomenon. I learned this from Jason Pantana. He's Tom Ferry's marketing guy. He was on our podcast one time, and we were talking about omnichannel marketing, and he shares with me the frequency illusion, which the frequency illusion is essentially, if Kathy, you see me on 2 or more frequencies, your brain is going to start thinking you see me more than you do. You are naturally going to see me pop more and think of me more. Why is that important? Again, 81% of the time, consumers only interview one agent. You must be first. So you need omni-channel. When Brian Harris does 275 touches, he's not just doing 275 of one channel. There's 6 frequencies of communication at a high level that you can implement in your marketing. You have the email inbox, direct mailbox, face-to-face. This one is killing it. We've been doing our podcast, Stay Paid, which I'm actually in our studio right now. So Stay Paid is a podcast, comes out weekly. We interview top people all across the industry, top producers. Number one thing that has come out over the last really 4 years is client events. If you are not doing client events, we don't really even help with client events, but I want you to do them because they literally just are amazing. We do 4 of them a year at Acree Brothers. The first one we just did was our pie event. So on Pie Day, we gave pies out to all of our sphere. We have a summer bash coming up. We're going to rent an ice skating ring, an ice cream shop. I have a QR code here with a bunch of resources where you can go and get some podcast information on the client event ideas. There's some downloadables in there. The other thing I want to share with you about face-to-face, client events is one you should be doing, because also with client events, you get multiple touches. Think about frequency. So, if you have a client event, you got the invite you can give, you got the phone call invite you can give, you get to see them at the event, you get to follow up and thank them for coming. You get multiple invites within one event. And Garrett Maroon, he's a client of mine. He has 287 people in his database, did 88 deals. So he's based out of Hampton Roads area. So Garrett, he is a huge fan of pop-buys. So he does our magazines and mailer stuff, but he loves pop-buys. I'm not a big pop-buy guy. I feel it doesn't work for me, but he loves pop-buys. So if you love stopping by your client's house, that's another face-to-face strategy. On that resource right here, back to this QR code, there's a whole podcast with Garrett where he breaks down how he does the pop buys, like how he leaves the car running so he doesn't have to stay very long because you might get caught. Like there's all these strategies, what he gives. You'll also have a bunch of like printable pop buy things that you can hand out. If you take this QR code, it's on that page as well. And this is also, I should have mentioned, where you can get the 200 touchpoint calendar that we do with Acree Brothers. But my concept here is, hey, I want you to be on every frequency. Face-to-face is so important. Voice-to-voice is probably the second most important, which is if you have Carrie in your list, you can email Carrie all day long. You can send her a magazine all day long. You can post on social all day long. But every bit of your marketing will be amplified if you talk to her actually in person. If you face-to-face or on the phone talk to Carrie, your email stands out in the inbox now. Your social media post on Facebook stands out now. Like it amplifies. When you get human-to-human contact, human-to-human connection, every other bit of your marketing gets elevated. So at the very least, if you're doing email campaigns right now, man, text, call your clients because it amplifies all your email campaigns to stand out in the mailbox. Go ahead, Kathy. I see your hand raised.
Yeah, I was just going to say, our people have heard me say this before. I used to have to crawl through the bushes and look in the windows, right, to know what past buyers and sellers were doing. Cheat a little bit, guys. For that voice-to-voice, spend 5 minutes in social media and find out what people are doing. Little Susie just won the spelling bee. What a great way to call and say, hey, Carrie, I just wanted to call you and let you know, great parenting. Little Susie didn't learn how to spell on her own, so I saw that she won that, and I just wanted to call and say, man, great job. I know you're busy, great job.
Yeah, so good. And then think in mind of like things you can do That's like, I always call it the unexpected. Like my class on creating raving fans, I always tell people, how do you create raving fans? It's by doing the unexpected. Like you walk into a room, you flip on the light and the light comes on. Nobody freaks out. Everybody expects it to come on when you flip the light switch. You're not like, wow, the lights came on, because you expected it. So when you help them buy and sell real estate and you do a good job, they don't freak out and write raving reviews because they expect it. That's what they paid you for. How do you do the unexpected that people just go, wow, I didn't expect this? And that's what causes them to rave about what you're doing, and connecting with people on things like Sean Carpenter, incredible resource for me and mentor. He's the one that ultimately has taught me a lot of these frequencies. He texted me a video message on my son's birthday, William's birthday, who just turned 2 on April 9th. He texted me a video message on my son's birthday. Like I expected for my birthday, not my son's birthday. And he's literally like, Luke, hope you're doing well. I'm down in Nebraska speaking to a bunch of realtors in Nebraska. I just want to wish William a happy birthday. I'm like, yeah, this guy is next level doing the unexpected. And what is that? That's a touch that counts towards your 100+ touches a year that you need. You count everything, text, phones, all that stuff.
Back to what he was saying about social media. I mean, things like, you see somebody you're connected with that just got a puppy, for instance, and then talking about pop buys, right? Go get a couple little, puppy things in a little basket or a little box and drop it off. Like back to what you were saying too, Luke, about being unexpected. That's not something anybody would expect from their realtor or even a friend necessarily. So it's just those little things that if you can constantly be mindful and aware of what's going on in people's lives and be able to reach out and say congratulations, or I'm sorry, or I hope you're feeling better, or whatever. That's again, not, are you looking to buy or sell? But it'll go a long way.
Here's the strategy I would give everybody that we try to practice. I call it a 5 for 5. Basically, you take 5 minutes every day. You could do it 5 minutes in total if you want to be real quick, or do it 5 minutes per person. So take 5 minutes every day, pick 5 people in your database, and go and connect with them. It can be a video message like Sean did to me. It can go on Facebook and DM them. That will also help you, a cheat code on your Instagram and Facebook if you want to get more engagement. Go and DM people, because 9 times out of 10, they will respond, which influences the algorithm in the background to show that Kathy and Luke actually do engage. So now my content is going to be shown more to Kathy because she's engaged with me. So it's like, if every day you take 5 minutes, pick 5 people, DM them on Instagram, send them a video message or something like that, you'll hit your whole core list over the course of a month with a personal touch. And it's a way to really just be consistent, but it's not overwhelming every single day. So really, it's just, go ahead, Kath.
I was just going to say, kudos, Jim Dietrich's Rock Supreme up near you, up in Pennsylvania. And he said his team did 120 transactions last year. 87% were referral. Yeah. He does 4 to 5 events per year. He spent $6,000. So if you do his average transaction times 120, that's really good ROI. And Jim is a masterful. He's a touch person. Dan, thanks for giving us a shout out to Dion Malouche, who's one of my favorites. She's gold standard. She's up in Pennsylvania too.
These PA people.
He said she sent a personal video birthday message to Dan, and he just didn't expect it. It was just brilliant.
Yeah, awesome.
Love that.
Get people to help sponsor your events. It's not always will they, but if you have title companies, inspectors, insurance, partnerships, I'm going to talk about that here in just a little bit. Partnerships are incredible. You don't have to pay for your whole event. These people will help chip in for your event, and you don't have to get crazy. Our barbecue that we're doing, we're going to a free park locally. Hot dogs, hamburgers. You'll get maybe a bouncy thing that will cost you some money, but other than that, or renting an ice cream truck or something like that. Other than that, there's not that much cost, so you don't have to go crazy.
Like a cornhole tournament or something like that in the mix, for sure.
Yeah. You know what, Carrie? This is one of those times that I'm thinking, why am I not listing and selling real estate?
I know. So here's what I will tell you too. It's like frequency you need. You have to be the most frequent. The biggest lie in the business is that you think you have to be perfect in everything you do, and you think you have to be the best in everything you do. You didn't choose, I joked with you yesterday, Kathy, you didn't choose the best dentist. I know you hope you did, but you didn't, right? I can't see you guys' teeth. Maybe you did, but you didn't probably choose the best dentist. What you did is what every human does. You chose the most convenient. And usually convenience happens by what? I need some trust. So that's why referrals are so powerful, because of its convenience. I, as a consumer, can lean on Carrie because Carrie chose Kathy as her dentist. I can go, well, I don't have to do my due diligence as much. I can just trust because Carrie's been going there and having a good. It literally is convenience of why we make decisions so often. So it's like what I tell people is, how do you make it so people just think of you right away when it comes to real estate? And it's so convenient and easy to get a hold of you. And the best way to do that is obviously referrals. But let's get to impact. I know we have a lot of stuff to cover, so I'm going to try to hit as fast as I can on some of this. Impact is, probably the most important. So if you're taking notes, I would underline, hey, I need frequency, at least 26 touches, Luke's saying. And I should get to the 26 just by doing a 5 for 5 every day. Like, that's an action item. Walk away with that. Boom, you're good. But in them. Relevancy. Biggest mistake marketers make is they speak from where they're at, not from where the buyer is. You need to speak to where the buyer is. What are they interested in? What do they like? What's going on in their life? Not what you need. You need to help people list and sell real estate, but you need to speak to them because that's what cuts through their noise, because they're living their movie, not yours. So impact is through personalization and quality. That's two ways you can create impact. What I challenge people is use the forward method. Maybe you've heard this from a sales tactic perspective, but I want you to do this from a database perspective. I want you to pull up your CRM or Excel doc, however you're doing it, no judgment. Get a CRM if you don't have a CRM. But pull up your CRM, and if Kathy's in your CRM, ask yourself, do I know the forward method on Kathy? Do I know Kathy's family? Do I know her occupation, what she does for work? Do I know her recreation? Like her hobbies, what she's into, and do I know her dreams, where she's going? Especially dreams when it comes to real estate, because that's really important. Chances are you probably don't know all 4 of these pillars on everybody in your database. You might know a couple here and there. Your goal when you make your calls, when you have coffee with them, when you're getting to know the people, is to document these things. Because this is how you build real relationships. Like, one of the powerful things about our magazine is it has nothing to do with really just a bunch of like market data. You can put a market report in it if you want, but we actually fill it with content that clients love. Travel, art, food, design, cooking, things that they will enjoy, because we know there's a bigger chance that we're going to connect on their hobbies and dreams on that stuff than we are on just how the market's doing. The same thing of personalization. Like, we tell people, write a personal birthday letter to your client in your magazine, because you can write individual messages to your clients. Connect with them on the things that are personal, because that is what keeps people remembering you. There was a crazy study. My wife was a teacher before she was a stay-at-home mom, and they did a study on teachers, and the data was super interesting of trying to figure out what makes somebody be your favorite professor or teacher. Like, surveying a bunch of people that went through high school and college and going, who was your favorite professor and high school teacher and why? And what was interesting about the data is it's basically what people didn't say. Nobody said Kathy was my favorite professor because she had PhD next to her name. So your certifications matter. Those things next to your name matter, but they don't really matter that much for memorability. Nobody said Kathy was my favorite professor because she was the greatest lecturer of all time. Her presentation skills were immense. The number one reason people chose their favorite teacher is because they said the teacher took a personal interest in my life and my dreams of where I was going. So if you think about that, you go, yeah, that's what causes people to remember you. Why is it so critical that you got to get people to remember you? Because 81% of clients choose the first agent they think of and they talk to. So you've got to be first. So how do you implement this? Man, the action item is your goal in your quarterly phone calls. Your goal in your CRM is to document these things. Your goal is then to use these things in your conversations. And then I give people this. I call it the 3 E's of content. What do you post on social? What do you send in print? Education, entertainment, and endearment. Education's pretty obvious. You got to educate people on your subject matter, on your market, on those type of things. That's pretty obvious. Entertainment's, actually obvious too. Our most popular one is recipe cards. I don't know if you guys hate on recipe cards or not. I would tell you, man, they're still really popular. We do millions of these things a year, and we just get incredible response. So I'll stop doing them when they stop working. I would challenge you, try a recipe card. Local events, we have a local events email newsletter that we do for clients. That is insanely popular too. It's just the local events that are happening in Philadelphia or Lynchburg, Virginia. And it doesn't really have to do with real estate. It's just the local, Philly Cheesesteak Festival or Play at the Walnut Theater stuff. And that is awesome. Endearment is where I want to spend the time. And Kathy and Carrie, I want to get your take on this because I think this has been my theory and it seems to be playing out true in our business. We all know you got to get people to know, like, and trust you. But where I think people misunderstand the like portion of this is they think of it just in terms of I like you, like personality wise. And they don't think of it in terms of people want to do business with people they know, like, and trust. Like, I actually like you as a person, but that I am like, meaning like, it's not just that I like you, it's that I am like you in terms of values. And the critical thing to connect with people, if you're a student of Tony Robbins, he teaches, rapport is built on commonality. So you've got to showcase to your community your values. What does your real estate business stand for? And this is so important. If you study top Fortune 50, Fortune 500 companies, they all have charities. They advertise, they market. Why? Of course, they're good people and they want to support those charities, but they're not dumb. These CEOs, they got to get their stock prices up. They know consumers want to do business with businesses of purpose, not just businesses of profit. And a huge mistake we make when we're advertising and stuff like that is we forget about the values portion. And this is where endearment comes in. What charity can you connect with at a local level that you can promote and sponsor and support? Boys and Girls Club, SPCA, Food Bank. Our most popular campaign for Acree Brothers is the Agape House in Lynchburg, Virginia. Stephen was connected through a friend. I think his mother ran the Agape House. It's just a food bank. We'll do a postcard mailing to our 4,000 person farm. We do a magazine ad for our database, 700, raising awareness and a food drive for the Agape House. And so the Acree Brothers brand is on there, but it's not really about real estate. So that is our most popular because, Kathy, I get to send it to you, but then here's the key. I get to go door knock and collect the canned goods and get face to.
Well, the timing of this is divine, and I want to say that because May 1 is one day, and that's our 20th anniversary. And one thing I love about our brand, Luke, is we encourage all the people on the call and all the people in our network to embrace what is that local charity, what is that local cause, if you will, that they want to invest in. That's endearment, and that is. I can't tell you how important that is. Real estate is global. Real estate is now global. Endearment is local.
Yes. And I grew up, so my dad's a pastor. And so he's been involved obviously in charitable work and stuff like that our whole life. And my dad is not an influencer by any means of the imagination on social, but in the county, Fluvanna County, people know. Right. And so, again, I want to make a caveat. Don't support charity because it's going to gain your business, but don't underestimate the power of what it can do to your business. Meaning, when you connect with the charitable organizations, you're connecting with influencers, local influencers that are connected throughout the community. And when you support their cause, they want to reciprocate and help support you. And that plays into the referral partners that you can have and do something you love so you don't care if you get anything back from it or not. You're just literally doing something that you love. So if I'm giving you because I know it's a lot of data, like think the 26 touches that Luke said you should need, like bare minimum. How do I get to 2 every week? Majority of your touches are going to be education, 60% or so. You're going to have about 30% of those be entertainment. And then you leave 5 to 10% to be endearment. Maybe you do 1 or 2 things a year where you're giving back. You can do more as much as you want, but that's a good kind of framework you can work off of where you have majority is educational because I need people to see me as the subject matter expert of real estate. But I'm not just about real estate. I want to also entertain you 30% of the time, meaning give you value. I call it entertainment, but give you value. That's not about me. And then I want to show you what I stand for. This is a way you create impact. Now, here's the thing. You need all 3 pillars. So I'll wrap up with trust because you can be frequent with junk and do the wrong thing. You can be frequent with good things like impact and you'll get a bunch of best friends, but you won't get people to buy from you. And we ultimately need people to refer us and buy from us. That's how we make a living. So how am I frequent with impact, but also get people to buy? That's where you need the 3rd pillar, which is trust. You have to, in your marketing, if you're doing 26 touches bare minimum, and you're doing education, entertainment, and endearment content, how do you also showcase that you are the business of trust? Buyer psychology, you should all study. Buyers want to buy from people they look up, not people they look at, meaning I know as much as you, Carrie, or look down upon, I know more than you about real estate than you do. Buyers want to feel they can look up to you, meaning you know more than I do, and you've accomplished something I haven't accomplished. And so I'm going to trust you to take me from point A to point B. How do you build trust? There's really 3 big ways people do it. I'm going to give you a 4th because I think it's an extra bonus and one of the best ways to do it. But you see them on the screens: accolades, testimonials, and educational content. So people trust people a lot of times that they look up to from an accolade standpoint. So when I go and speak on stages, or you go to any conference and you hear a speaker speak, they introduce them with accolades. Been featured here, been done this. Why? Because they know the audience doesn't know you and they're trying to build credibility. So how do you showcase your accolades? How do you go, hey, I want to build trust. How do I showcase how long I've been in the business? How do I showcase how many clients that I serve? One hack we do with Acree Brothers, we do a thank you mailer. Thank you so much for helping us serve the 269 families that we were able to help this year. So it's like a humble brag. It's like I'm saying, hey, I served 269 people, but it's through a thank you, right? And it's a way to put it out there. Your accolades can be you've won awards, top 1%. You've been in business for 20 years. You've helped 300 clients. If you're brand new, lean on your brokerage. Realty One Group has been around for 20 years. How many clients have they helped? When you go to that listing presentation, here's what I teach my sales team that started last week. Use the royal we. You haven't helped this many people, but we have. Hey, we here at Realty One Group, man, we've been in the community for this long. We've helped this many clients. You can lean on their accolades to literally, give trust to that person. And so you can build trust through accolades, but you got to be careful because it's kind of like humble bragging. And if you talk about it too long, it's almost annoying. So you want to really go to customer reviews. Kathy, you told me you're doing too much time shopping online. It's so crazy because you wake up every day, your phone's right beside you, right? You grab your phone. And I heard this from Tammy Bunnell in the industry. She said, before you know it, you're on social and somehow you ended up on Amazon purchasing something. You don't even know how you got there. And you're like, what the heck happened? And I was like, that's so true, Tammy. It's just crazy. But when you go to Amazon, you immediately look at reviews, volume and stars. Are you getting reviews? We just did a podcast. I don't have it on that page. I'll try to chat it in. We just did where we talked about how we get Google reviews. So we're the most reviewed team in Lynchburg, Virginia, and we use that now in the listing presentation, that we're the most 5-star reviewed team in Lynchburg, Virginia. And it's not that hard because people aren't focused on it to have that. So just focus on getting reviews on Google. You can create, the best hack is create a URL that takes people right to the review. So they can literally, so you can say, hey, go to remindermedia.com/boom, and it will take them right to the Google to rate them 5 stars and put a little message. So you can create a URL to do that. And now when you're with people, you can just give them that URL. You can text them that URL so they can just put in the review right there. Another way to do it is when you throw a client event like the Pi Day, we always collect reviews at our client events. So we have the laptops out, the phones ready to go, and we usually get multiple reviews at the client events because reciprocity's in the air. They've had a good time. They've been clients. They go review. So make sure you have reviews, both volume and star ratings. Turn those reviews into stories. Use those stories on your Facebook. Use those stories on your magazine, stuff like that. But here's what I will tell you, the bonus, and sorry, it's zooming in on me there. The bonus one I'll give you that I don't have in the slides, but I really believe in it, is you can get trust through partnerships. So I can get trust through association. The perfect example of this is, chat in, how many of you guys had heard about me before this whole webinar thing? How many of you have heard of Luke Acree? Just chat in yes if you had heard about me, just so we can get some chatting engagement there. Okay, awesome. So we got some people, but not a lot of people. There's 152 plus all the offices. Not a lot of people. Some people know. So, right? No, haven't heard about you. No, not you personally. Perfect. You guys trust me. Why? Because you trust Kathy and you trust Carrie. And you trust Realty One Group. So it's not that you have immense trust in me yet, but I have a little degree of trust because you trust them. And this is a partnership. And so I'm earning trust by association. You guys have partners, and you should start seeing them as partners. The title company that helps you, the insurance company, the inspection company, all these, man, you should be partnering up with them and creating co-branded marketing where it's like a Brian Quigley, a real estate agent here in PA that I work with, partnered up with the elder care attorneys and the assisted living facilities. He closed 39 deals last year. 39 deals. It's crazy. The senior market, we got to do another training on the senior market. It is wild. Booming right now. I know that just because we work with a lot of Medicare agents in the insurance space, but he closed 39 deals from partnerships from assisted living facilities and elder care attorneys, feeding him the seniors that need to downsize their home in order to afford to move into the facility. He's gotten so much trust now that the assisted living facilities are allowing him to present at their facility seminars. He had 80 people at his last seminar. 80 people. He estimated conservatively 40 million in volume in the room.
That's
Wow.
incredible.
Trust by
Man,
partnership.
that's it. I mean, that's it. It's frequency, it's impact, it's trust. Right now, before everybody starts to go away, I want you to type, all of you that identified the potential income from your sphere of influence, put in there, and you can't say pay taxes because we all know you filed an extension yesterday. Put in the chat line, what would you do with that money? What would you do with that income? Yes, we've monetized it, now let's spend it, right? What would you do with the income, the potential income you will earn once you implement this? There you go.
Tropical vacation. I love that.
And
Pay off my tax.
off my tax. Tammy Cook helped my mom move to Florida. What?
I was going to say the common denominator for a lot of these is it doesn't only affect you. It affects those you love and that love you and your family. And that is motivation in itself that you really need to recognize.
Yeah, it's so good. I love all these chats coming in. The goal with trust and the hardest one to do, as you guys we're wrapping up, is subject matter expert. And the subject matter expert comes from putting out educational content consistently over long periods of time to show people that you know what you're talking about. And I have this picture, which is just our podcast screenshot from, I don't know, a year or so ago on TikTok. The podcast was something I didn't necessarily want to do, but knew I needed to do. It was about 8 years ago. Been putting it out for 8 years, once a week now. It used to be twice a week. And nobody listened for the first 3 years. Nobody. And that's there's this thing called pod fade where people give up 10 episodes or less. And it's like 90% of podcasts. And I always tell people it's a great example of what happens to us in all marketing. We give up way too soon and we don't push through because nobody's listening. We're not getting any reaction. We're not getting any leads. Don't give up. The podcast, after 3 years of doing it, interviewing even my own insurance agent, couldn't get traction, started to take off. We went all the way to number 6 on the marketing charts. It's been one of my biggest brand builders, all because we didn't give up. And I would share with you is that take one of these things today that I've mentioned. You won't do them all, but take the 5 for 5. Text 5 people every single day, 26 touches. Make sure you're on 2 frequencies at least. Like, take one of them and actually do it. Actually do it, because I promise you, you don't have to use ReminderMedia. We would love to work with you, of course, but you don't have to use it. I promise you, if you're frequent, you create impact, and you actually do the trust, you'll be successful. I've just seen it time and time again.
And here's the motivator for me. You said earlier, and I wrote down, in 10 months, may take 10 months. Luke and I had a discussion yesterday about we are sensing a lot of pent-up buyers and sellers. I personally think if you start doing it, you're going to get a return in more rapidly than 10 months. I think if you start asking for the business, and back to Carrie's point, be a resource, not a sales pitch, but I believe you're going to have a return sooner than that. I think second quarter is going to be the launch pad for third quarter, which is going to be ready to go.
Just ask don't you guys believe, well, I would ask everybody, I think real estate in a way is simple. If you can just have 20 conversations a day with people and try to get those 20 conversations, some of them to get to real estate, you will be successful. You'll be a top producer. Then you just got to ask yourself, well, that's the goal. How do I have 20 conversations, a day, or 10 conversations a day? How do I create conversations? And it's like, what can I do? And then as you make money, then there's this thing in business called leverage, and you get leverage from systems and people. So you can either buy systems or you can hire people. And your goal as a business owner is to go, hey, I want to produce the activity to generate the income to where I have overflow. And when I have overflow, take that overflow and invest into leverage of systems and people. And then I take that overflow and I invest into other streams of income. But don't jump too soon. Don't leave when your cup is only half full. Wait till you have overflow. Master referral and repeat business before you go to the Facebook ads. Because Facebook ads we do for people. But if someone called me today and said, hey, I want to do your Facebook ads, I'm going to ask them, well, how's your referral and repeat business doing? Because I'd rather you put your money there, because that's the bigger return. And when you have excess, then let's go to Facebook ads. And I do them for people. We do them for Acree brothers. But it's like, I just know that's the key. And so many agents are failing because they're just jumping too soon and they don't see it all the way through. It kills me.
Great stuff. Luke, thank you so much. I echo what Taylor says. Huge thank you to Luke and ReminderMedia. You've given us tips that, you know what? We don't have to spend a dime. We just get out there and we start doing what we need to do. You're right. Real estate is simple, but it's not easy. And the hard part is the execution. We talked about that yesterday. We're going to have you back because I really wrote a note about that business for seniors. That
Yes.
is the wealthiest group. The average seller is 63 years old. We need to sharpen our saw with that. So slides. Full presentation is going to be available on YouTube, Carey, probably by tomorrow afternoon this time. So thank you. Luke, we owe you. We can't wait to have you join us again.
Yeah, thank you guys. You guys were a blast. Thank you to everybody who attended. Really appreciate it. And let's connect soon. Thank you.
Thank you.